Hey, dummy, that's not real. Hey, it's Mike tapping in from the Haymaker studio. Got a big show today. You might have heard Luka Doncic coming back to the Metroplex for the second time. Hopefully he doesn't get snowed in. We got a college football national champion, Indiana Hoosiers. Everybody try to replicate that. It's so easy. Why don't you just do it that way? Later in the show, Iztok Franko will join us live from Slovenia. Javonte Williams, do you want him? How much? I'm not that interested, and we might talk cougar meat sandwiches with these guys too.
Hey!
Stick around.
Wait, what's happening?
StrongSide, episode 11.
Hold on, I didn't sign.
Welcome back to StrongSide, the show. I am Mike Palucci. He is Mike Marshall. You know us. You maybe love us, but we definitely love you because you're here with us for another week in the beautiful Haymaker studio here in Frisco, Texas. We've got Iztok Franko coming on live from Slovenia. We're international, baby. We're like Pitbull. We're Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
Dale. We're going to talk about something I bet you know what we're going to be talking about. We're also going to talk a little
Did
football.
something happen?
Mike and I are going to disagree about something. We usually agree about things. We don't agree about Javonte Williams. We'll get to all that. But let's get to the thing that we're going to talk to Iztok about before we talk to Iztok about it, which is, do you know that there's a basketball game on Saturday against Los Angeles Lakers, Mike? Were you aware of that fact?
As of a couple days ago, I actually was not.
Okay.
I didn't have this on my calendar, believe it or not.
That's healthy.
I think so. That's the way I'm approaching life right now is avoiding anything that's bringing me deep, severe pain. And that basketball team does that. So
yeah.
But I was made aware by Jason Gallagher that the Mavericks would be hosting their former son, Luka Doncic, for the second time Saturday night at the American Airlines Center, which it might get snowed out or canceled. If we can just cancel it, I'm fine with that. We can just move on.
We're trying to never, ever is going to happen. But it is going to happen. And we should start with you on this because this time last year, you were a Dallas Mavericks employee.
Yeah,
both calendar-wise for the trade, but the first Luka Doncic return that basically shut the whole city down. Mm-hmm. It's a little different now. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like a normal game. It definitely doesn't feel like that either, though. So from your perspective, you were a team employee then. You are not a team employee now. You've come through the other side. How does this feel to you? What does this feel like now that he's coming back for a little re-return action?
Yeah, so this one I don't really care about as much unless he has another emotional reaction. I think that would maybe, I don't know, bring it back home a little bit.
Yeah.
He has the same kind of reaction as he did the first one, which was obviously very authentic and very real. And I think a lot of people, I don't even know what state I was in that night. I really didn't want that night to come. I was hoping he would, deep down, I was hoping he just wouldn't need to play that game on April 9th of 2025. And it felt like the final motion in a court divorce proceeding where you'd seen all the bad stuff happen already and lived a lot of it over the previous 2 months, and knowing how much the people from inside the organization wanted to do for him, wanted to say, thank you, I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm sorry they did this to you, and how much either got turned down or got a little bit down the road and got shot down, or how many videos or different pieces of material or assets got manipulated and kind of twisted and had to be edited about 15 times so every single person was happy about it. And it was the overwhelming feeling going into that night was numb at that point because I was so annoyed,
tired,
and pissed off and tired and just really wanted to grab anybody by their collar and yell in their face and go, this isn't for you.
Yeah.
Like, you did the bad thing already. Let the team say how much we loved him and appreciated him the right way.
Right.
And I'm surprised they let anything happen. I'm surprised the video played. I'm surprised, and that video wasn't half as good as the first edit of the video. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
We wanted to do so much more, and we wanted to, be on this journey with him as we all point towards, the really expensive seats and go like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this to all of us? And we didn't really get that experience. It was everyone started. I mean, I internally and externally started cheering for him once he started cooking.
I think everybody did. The whole building did that.
That was the cathartic moment.
Yeah.
When everybody got to experience the thing that they really loved happening again, even if it was the reverse. We loved watching Luka play. I loved promoting Luka.
Yeah.
I loved showing off how stylistic his game can be and how different and what kind of character he is and how much fun he has. And so everybody kind of started having fun again for that brief stretch of time, and then we had to go back to reality of, oh, the reason he's doing this is because he's so pissed off at our organization. So this time around, I don't know, Maxey didn't get to play last time, so I don't know if they're going to do a video for Maxey or not.
That'd be nice.
I have no idea. Or I don't even know if Maxey's been playing, to be honest. But this time around, it's just a reminder, now that Nico's gone, that of that 2-month stretch in between February and then April 9th, all of the everybody get in line behind Nico. We're supporting Nico. We're moving forward with Nico.
Yeah.
How strong that was. How hard they pushed for this.
Yeah.
And then how quickly they decided that was a bad idea and dumb to the point where you need to fire him.
Right.
I don't know how you can expect me to respect you if you push that hard saying, this is our path, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing. Shut up, get in line, forget Luka, we're going, get in, idiot, we're going shopping. That was their mindset. And then so quickly to go, oh, yeah. Yeah, we were wrong. We were big wrong. Big wrong.
Major wrong.
So this opens up some old wounds for sure for every Mavericks fan. I think it's going to be I'm really happy for the people that they're going to get to see Luka play again because it brought us so much joy. We had so much fun together. We had experiences we'll never forget. Beating Minnesota, beating Celtics on the walk-off on the Hardwood Classic night, just stuff like that, right?
Phoenix series.
The Phoenix, all of it, dude. Every single bit of it is we were Luka fans, and we enjoyed experiencing him whenever he started cooking in a game. That's the most fun I think I've had as an NBA fan, even beyond Dirk. Dirk was a different kind of joy and a different kind of achievement whenever it eventually came to the championship and all that. But, man, just going to the arena on a random night and going, I don't know, dude might drop 70 tonight.
It was the thing that people in the Bay Area experience with Steph.
Yeah.
Where you get that moment, and even if you're not watching the game on a certain night, you might flip on Twitter and you just see the timeline, and you're just like, oh, Luka's cooking, I better get the screen on.
Yeah.
Because anything could happen at any moment, and it would be this supernova. And I remember the Knicks, it was that Knicks game in the winter of, was it 23, 22?
Mm-hmm.
That obscene game that he had. And I remember writing about it the next day, and just I refer to it as snow blindness in that he had so many crazy games that they all just papered over each other, and it was hard to even distinguish. His average games were what other people would call a great night. And then the great nights were just stuff where you're just like, how does anybody do this, right? Yeah. So I think when I think about last year, I was in the building that night, and I wrote about how he made everybody remember him on his terms. Mm-hmm. There was what you, the organization, wanted to do. There's what you were allowed to do. There's what the people at very high up parts of the arena, shall we say, preferred this to be related to how the fan base had been treated for the last 2 months afterwards for daring to protest what they did. Mm-hmm. But none of it mattered once 77 came back in that building.
Yep.
It was what Luka was going to make you pay attention to. And because Luka, and I say this complimentary, very petty man. And everybody knew, and I'm sure his talk is going to know when we talk to him about this, when he wanted to bust you up, he was going to do it, right? Ask Clipper fans what it's like to play Luka Doncic, because he loves fucking with the Clippers.
Yep.
Well, last year we were the Clippers.
Yeah.
And he just decided, all right, you're gonna feel this.
Yeah.
This time around, I'm curious how he feels. It feels different here for a very major reason, which is that Cooper Flagg is here. Mm-hmm. Because this time last year, it wasn't just that things were so raw because so much had happened so recently. And it wasn't just that the way people were being told you can't protest, we're going to kick you out of the arena.
Forgot about that, man.
Yeah, that to me is as much what stoked the flames as anything. We've got
the no camera media meeting,
all that stuff.
They didn't invite
I didn't get invited to
half
that.
of the real journalists in town.
Did not get invited to that at all.
The stupid shirts they put out for that night.
All
which
that.
ended up being like a sweet sentiment, but were stupid and didn't make any sense.
It felt very forced. But all of that stuff, right? Like, that was all of the moment, but it all hit even harder because at the time, Cooper Flagg was not here, and there was nothing to believe in. There was every reason. Josh Bowe, who's been on the show before, who writes for us, Josh wrote a piece about, I forget the exact headline, but it was to the effect of, you think they've hit rock bottom, it's about to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
And he mapped out the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's going to get really, really ugly because they've backed themselves in this corner that everybody but one guy realizes is terrible. Mm-hmm. And then an actual miracle hit.
Yeah.
And now you fast forward, and we're not here to do the Cooper or Luka thing. Mm-hmm. What we are here to say, though, is that there was a guy here who made people believe that anything was possible. And now, not through anything they did, not through Nico Harrison's vision, through pure dumb luck, and maybe the basketball gods shining a light on the city after the city got stabbed to the back. But he's here. We got another one here now. And there is reason to believe, not that it'll be easy in the next few years to build that team around him for various things that we talked about this show and we'll keep talking about, but there is something to believe in, and there is a guy here now. Last year, they traded a guy, did not get one back. Now there is one. And I think it's going to still sting. It will probably always sting. People will always be sad. Much like everything in our world, how there's always a conspiracy theory, there will always be an undercurrent of people wondering if Luka will come back and when. But it doesn't change the fact that this will be the first Cooper versus Luka matchup. Yeah. And that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. They're different types of dudes, but there's an actual past versus future element to this. I don't think anybody wanted it to play out this way, but at least there's something to believe in and hope in. And that's what makes Saturday feel less like an event, only because it won't feel like trauma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing I will probably remember forever about that time in my life and Mavs employees' lives is how much we needed to say and be heard by everyone that we didn't do this and I'm being forced to live in this.
Yeah.
And also that, man, we really loved you. We still really love you as a person. We'd really like to say thank you and say we're sorry for whatever happened, but it got muted. Mm-hmm. And we were told basically, no, that seems like we have made a mistake or that tone is not what we're looking for here.
It felt
as if it's like trading cars or something. You know what I mean?
As an outsider, it felt like it was the bare, like they knew they had to do something. Mm-hmm. And it was the bare minimum of what they could get away with to make it seem like, see, we're listening now, we're trying.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, you did about 12%.
Yeah. And your story was right. And I remember reading it that day, and we read it internally and read everything that everybody wrote afterwards just to see, like, do they know? Did they know, like, we wanted to do more? And the story, someone tried to write a false version of the story. Right?
Yeah.
Someone tried to write, this is actually what's happening. Don't pay attention over there. I'm going to gaslight you into thinking that this is just a normal player coming back, a normal player return, and blah, blah, blah. And it just flatly wasn't.
No.
And it wasn't within their control.
Yeah.
Because he told you what the story was. He told you what time it was. And whenever he goes manic on a basketball court, and usually very positive ways, sometimes he gets ejected when he does it, but
things happen.
When he goes manic on a basketball court, there is this many players in NBA history that you want to watch more than Luka Doncic. It might be one hand.
Yeah, and that was always the part that people miss, the forest of the trees. We'll talk about this with the Lakers version. Like, okay, bitches at the refs. Okay, the defense. Okay, the conditioning. Okay, sometimes he does a lot of step backs. This isn't just an outcome business. Only one team gets to be happy, and one fan base gets to be happy if it's just about who won the ring this year. It's how did you spend 8 months of your life every year? Yeah. And I can't think of a more fun way to spend it aesthetically than watching this dude. Right? Dirk got it done, and we all love Dirk, and Dirk is the king of this city now and forever. It wasn't as fun watching Dirk as Luka.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a different kind of grind.
It was, and it was amazing, and I'd pay a lot of money to be able to watch prime Dirk play another game again, but watching Luka do stuff, it was just it just took that aesthetic experience away from people. It took a lot of experiences away from people, and at least this one will feel like a pathway towards moving on, right? We've talked about and we'll keep talking about it's a long road to really make it feel like the page has been turned, if it ever can be. But at least now we're not just watching him play for the other team. It's, what can our new guy do against that guy? How's this measuring stick game? And that's cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, and if people do remember that feeling that he gave them of literally anything can happen right now.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. Anything can happen. One man can change the fortune of a franchise. There's something legitimately magical that happens to him when he plays this game. Good. Please feel that for the rest of your life, because that's what I was trying to sell you.
You succeeded.
For 7 years, right?
Succeeded.
That's what we as an organization are trying to convince you of from day one. So, speaking of another sport in which there's one true winner and the rest are frauds.
A very magical winner, at least. All right, at least we're not sitting here talking about another Ohio State title.
Yeah, exactly. College football season's over, unfortunately. It was a really cool one for a lot of reasons. Not at the bottom of the list is the Mean Green, what they did this season.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that thoroughly. Obviously, they get a matchup with the national champion Indiana Hoosiers, I think second week of next year up in Indiana. So Sam Hoover and Coach Grumpy Cat are gonna learn. Get
ready to learn 1-on-1, boys.
Yeah, get ready to learn what the Mean Green are all about, my friend. With our 67 transfers from 60 different schools.
Nobody who plays for your school anymore.
I have no idea. I know Jimerson's still there. That's all I care about.
Okay,
Quarterback's still there.
Okay, cool.
That's all I care. Let's go, Jimmy. But I don't. What a really, really cool college football season.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you can get into this thing, and you're right. It's Ohio State. It's Michigan. It's all the people like that I've known the name of since I was 5 years old. Indiana's a different one, man.
Yeah.
What are we going to remember this season for? And what sticks out to you about this experience over the last couple months?
I mean, we'll all remember it for the same things. There's what we're going to remember it for, and then there's how this is going to shape college football. I think the latter is more interesting than the former. What we're going to remember it for is like, if you can't enjoy this, what are you enjoying? And I say this as somebody who I love college football in spite of itself. Everything about what the sport is doing off the field is unbelievably stupid. And we were in this weird, messy transition period before they collectively bargain. And it's going to get, right now Duke is suing its quarterback because the quarterback is trying to break a legally binding contract so he can go play at Miami, which is what one of Miami's starting corners did with Wisconsin and got out of that, Xavier Lucas. So we're dealing with like legal battles of, hey, you're an adult and signed a contract, honor it. Like that's how broken the whole thing is, right? And amid that backdrop, you had a classic underdog story of this team. Indiana was the worst FBS power school in existence. And I think I saw some insane stat. I want to make sure I'm not misquoting the number here, but it was something to the effect of when Kurt Cignetti got there, they had 663 career losses as a program, and they won a national title before they got to 766.
Yeah.
Right? So that, and, the Fernando Mendoza thing is unbelievable. Like, everything about it was rad. What I'm interested in and why, if we were a local show talking about this, why this is going to be fascinating is a lot of people are going to take the wrong lessons from this deal. Because everybody, and I see this, my alma mater, we talked about this. I'm a USC fan. I hear so many people whining about Lincoln Riley, what he's done and not done, because Indiana got it turned around in 2 years. Why can't we get it turned around in 2 years? I'm seeing the breed of college football fan that doesn't know the forest of the trees say, how many 4- and 5-star recruits did Indiana have and won a national title? Why do we need 4- and 5-star recruits to win a national title? I'm seeing this whole, you can speed up your culture because Kurt Cignetti did it. And why can't we speed up our culture because they did it there? And what people need to get, whether this comes, whether this is a UNT thing, if they did it here, we could do it in 2 years, whether it's SMU down the road or TCU, any school, this could be any school in America. You have to understand your coach is not Kurt Cignetti. Your situation is not that situation. This is a one-of-one, and it should be appreciated as a one-of-one and enjoyed as a one-on-one. And that's what's been cool as just a neutral fan perspective. Like, I had so much fun on Monday. And I don't dislike Miami at all, right? Miami's USC's spiritual cousin. They're loud and flamboyant and in your face. Like, I'd have been cool with Miami title in most other circumstances. But
Miami is what people think LA is.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Having traveled to both places a lot, I'm like,
there are maybe 4 cities in this country that legitimately don't feel like any other city, and Miami's one of them.
Yeah.
Complimentary.
Yeah.
But instead of trying to learn a lesson and apply this and McKinsey-ize the whole Indiana experience to our school and what are we going to model, you can't. Sometimes wild stuff happens and a one-of-one dude comes along. And people should dig that. And that's fun and that's exciting because it feels like among the many things that are weird with our era of sports right now, it's this idea that sort of the knowledge is good and knowledge is fun, but sometimes when things become too much of a science and less of an art, it's just not as fun as a viewer, right? It's a cousin to the Luka thing. Part of why Luka's fun is I don't know what Luka's going to do, and I could be surprised. We could be surprised by Indiana. We don't have to spend X number of time and resources trying to figure out what they did because you can't really replicate it. And you could try, and a lot of people are going to get hired and fired, and a lot of money is going to go down the drain because people will try to replicate the irreplicable. But I will remember that this was special, and even if they don't continue some form of this, and they will, but even if they never win another title game, it's special. And the more people try and fail to replicate it, the less fun it's going to be for everybody involved.
Yeah, and I think if you just zoom out and kind of look at everything from a blurry lens, I think there is a lesson to be learned of spend money and try, and you can have the most fun you've had playing college football in a long time or ever.
Yeah.
In some instances, right? I hope people learn that lesson.
That's a good one. Take that one.
Of let's really try. Let's hire a serious coach. Let's load the transfer portal with dudes that we want. I hope the lesson isn't that Oklahoma State goes on to be great because they took our whole football team like
you're moving to Stillwater, bro.
Like Indiana did to James Madison, right? So I don't know. I thought it was really cool that a team can do that quickly. I think them expecting Indiana to be great again. I mean, good luck, right? Like if they bring in Hoover and they get right back on it, and I don't even know where they're ranked preseason.
I mean, look. They did 80% of this with Curtis Rourke and not Fernando. We're never hearing from Curtis Rourke again. They'll be good because the secret sauce, and this is why they're so good, why Cignetti is some kind of warlock, is that people have broken this down. It's really just they screw up less than other people.
Yeah.
They do what you are supposed to do all the time. Yeah. And it seems like the most simple thing in the world, except it's the hardest thing in the world. And I don't know how to lobotomize that dude and tell you how he pulls it off.
Well, most coaches think that they're above the game, that they have a scheme that can really break the game and change the DNA of what's going to happen. It's almost a Belichick style of, I'm just going to get into this game, and we are not going to make a single effing mistake. Not on our reads, not on what gap I'm supposed to be in, not in my depth of coverage, not on, like that freaking ball on the right sideline that Mendoza threw to Becker. I was like, did he just throw a ball with his eyes closed? That guy wasn't open.
Yeah.
But he knows because they are disciplined and they don't screw up. He's stopping at 17 and he's turning around.
Yeah.
The ball's going to be there. He didn't see that shit. He did not see the ball until it hit him right here.
Yeah.
Changed the entire game. I think I was on a 4th down.
It was the first 4th and 5 because the second one was the scramble.
They were so good and they were so on point.
Yeah.
And the coach coached to the game, not I've got some crazy system that'll completely change everything, or I've got this one player that's going to break this slate and completely do something outside of the frame of what a college football – they played like a pro team. They played like the best pro teams.
Right.
And I don't know if that's replicable, if you can get that level of disciplined men in your room again with that level of talent, because that's the trick, right?
Yeah.
You can have like a really good disciplined team and you can go be freaking Army.
Yeah,
cool,
you know, you could have the assistant brain drain, right?
Yeah.
You know, I was at USC right at the pivot point of the Carroll era. I was there. My freshman year was the Rose Bowl loss to Texas, and I thought, they'll win another title. They didn't. They were really good for 4 more years, but they lost too many assistants from when they were really rolling, and they just couldn't replace them because it's just hard to do. And sure enough, like I think Indiana already lost one of them. There's been more people that leave this thing, right? It might be a moment in time, but it's a really awesome moment in time.
Yeah,
I'm glad we had it.
Yeah.
All right, last week we debuted Cowboys Contract Corner. We talked about George Pickens because we had to talk about George Pickens first. Now we're going to talk about Javonte Williams. I think they should sign him. The end.
Good argument.
Yeah,
wow,
I think we can go home now. It's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah.
Let me pull out my trusty little dented iPhone here because for some Mike had charts.
Let's just jump to it. What number
Okay.
do you think they should sign Javonte Williams
I'm
to?
so glad you asked.
Because I can tell you what it's going to cost.
Okay, so looking at current running back contracts, looking at average annual value.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I see James Cook at 11.5 a year.
Uh-huh.
I see Kyron Williams at 11 a year.
Mm-hmm.
I see Aaron Jones at 10 a year.
Mm-hmm.
I see Joe Mixon at 9.875 a year.
That's a tough one.
It wasn't tough until his ankle went kablooey.
Yeah.
And I see James Conner at 9.5, which is also a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I look at that and I say 10.5 a year.
10.5?
I say 10.5 a year.
You're fine with 10.5 is what you're saying.
I am fine with 10.5 a year for 3 years, and here's why. The salary cap, you know what the 2026 salary cap for an NFL team is?
I don't remember off the top of my head, no.
$295.5 million. So if I'm paying my starting running back $10.5 million, I mean, he's got to be a decent running back. But Javonte Williams is decent because I know what you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me this line is very good. You're going to tell me in a world where they re-sign George Pickens that you have a star quarterback and the best receiver duo in the league and a perfectly solid tight end in Jake Ferguson. Plug a lot of dudes as the running back, and this train will keep running on time.
You could. They have.
To the degree of success is this, though, right? Here's my counter to this, right? Because I agree that there have been things. We're not going to talk about the raw numbers. The raw numbers are great, right? A lot of guys can do raw numbers.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the stuff underneath. Javonte Williams last year, 5th in yak per attempt.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams, 2nd in broken tackles, 5th in rushing EPA, 7th in rushing success rate among running backs who actually play because it's skewed by a bunch of rando dudes out there. He is good in the room.
Yep.
Other than the year where he had one of the worst running back knee injuries we've seen in the last 10 years, other than that year, he's played 16 games every single year. Probably could have played all 18 this year if they wanted to, but there's nothing left to do at the end, right? So they sent him down. Not a 0 in the passing game. Going to be 26 before next year.
Pretty much a 0 in the passing game.
Caught 33 balls this year.
For how many yards?
Sub.
Do you know how many?
It wasn't a lot, but that's what a 0 is. I'm saying not a 0. I'm saying not a 0. How many?
Because it's a comical amount of yards.
How many?
For 35 receptions, 100 and 37 yards. Like, dude, those aren't catches. Those are oh shits from Dak.
That is admittedly a lower number than I thought it was.
That's what's so low, dude.
But
that's so low.
Yeah, but your boy Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
Not a pass catching back, right?
More than Javonte is though.
Not really. This year was the first year they did it, and I do think that is relevant because before this year they didn't throw to him, and then they did. I think there's some proof of concept. Here's my point: it is such a small number of your cap for a guy who will be going to his age 26 season. He has proven, and look, I thought this dude, like everybody else, I'm not going to sit here and claim I'm smarter than the Cowboys. They were right about this. A year ago at this time, we'll say 11 months ago, right? Because he gets brought in March. I'm thinking this is their same lazy Zeke Elliott, not even Rico Dowdle, because Rico was there and in their building. This was the Zeke thing all over again of pay someone for cheap. I thought Miles Sanders was going to be better than this guy.
Yeah.
I still,
most people did, yeah.
Machine and I are two people who will never understand how Miles Sanders got as bad as he got.
I don't know what's happened to that man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
for the record, Kyron had 36 catches for double the yards.
Sure, this year, but what did he do before this year?
Kyron? Oh, I don't know.
But they didn't throw to him, and that's my point. I think there could be expanded usage if they want it to be. My point is simply that if you have a guy who has proven he is durable, who has proven that you like him in this room, who has proven that there are several underlying stats as a runner that tell me that isn't just a byproduct of a good line and a good system, but that this dude is making things happen. Not as, like in college, he was crazy elusive, then he gets hurt, but he hits people now.
I love Javonte college.
Javonte come out of college was amazing.
It was something else to watch.
Yeah, he was a beautiful runner, and he's not that. But he proved this last year. He's not a shell of himself either the way we thought he was.
Yeah.
So if you have these things this past year, that he is a very efficient number and an efficient runner and a very good player and could do things independent of the context around him. And it is a single-digit percentage of your cap in a league where people are going to try and play too high on you all the time. In a world where you don't have a second-round pick and you don't have a third-round pick, and this running back class is not last year.
Those sting right now, honestly.
This is not a good running back class.
Not good at all.
Maybe if they, the Jaden Blue pick hit, or maybe if they didn't trade fours for Trey Lance and Jonathan Mingo, and they had the opportunity to take a fourth-round runner.
Or if the lasting image of the Cowboys season when they needed yardage or a third down back wasn't Hunter Lepke.
That's Jake's boy.
And Malik Davis.
Malik Davis sticking around. Yeah. You're right. But that's the alternative, right? If there was a Tony Pollard in the chamber, if there was a Rico Dowdle in the chamber, then okay. But you are going to have to either play the open market, and it's a good free agent running back class. That's also what's going to help their cause. Like Javonte at the top of the free agent heap. People are going to try to pay Ken Walker or Breece Hall or Travis Etienne before they're getting to Javonte.
Would you rather have Breece Hall?
Absolutely.
Would you rather have Kenneth Walker?
I'm a Kenneth Walker stan. Shout out my boy Chuck Perry. He knows how much of a Kenneth Walker stan I am. You're watching Chucky, you know.
Would you rather have Travis Etienne?
No.
Would you rather have Rico Dowdle?
Than Javonte? No, I would not. Rico lost his job again by the end of the year.
He did.
Rico's high point was filleting this Cowboys defense.
How much more expensive do you think Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker are?
I think Breece could be on the open market. I think Breece could be closer to 15. Breece is incredible in a terrible situation.
Yeah, he is.
And I think the thing with Ken Walker is like, Ken's weird. And I think a lot of people, it's eye of the beholder, because you just have to deal with the fact that you have to give him the ball 20 times and accept that 2 of these runs are going to be nuclear.
Yeah, he's a success rate nightmare.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of drives where you just bang your head against the wall, which is why Zach Charbonnet split carries with him, even though Zach Charbonnet is not nearly as good a player.
Yeah.
Whereas
he just blew out his knee, didn't he?
Just blew out his knee. So Seattle could very well just pay Ken Walker now, right? Ken kind of has all the cards.
I guess what I'm leading to is, what's the difference between 3 and 30 and 3 for 36?
Okay.
But for Breece Hall or for Kenneth Walker.
Then you could sell me on that. But is your argument, and maybe I was assuming something you were not really, maybe I was expecting you to do something you're not going to do, which is, are you anti-
Try to pin me down to an argument, didn't you?
Well, I thought I was going to, yeah. But I feel like when you and I talk away from this television program, we are friends, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Your whole position is just get a guy and let the line do the work. So are you saying you would rather pay more or less, but not the middle? Is that where you're going with that?
I'm saying the running back market is so truncated because people just will not spend X dollar on them.
Yeah.
That the difference between 10, I thought you were going to say Javonte for like 8.5 or 9. If you're going up to 10, like, you can get one of these big boys. You can get in that room with Breece Hall. You can get in that room with Kenneth Walker.
I'm fine with that.
Right?
Well, more Breece than Ken. I would completely get if Brian Schottenheimer's like, I know it's going to work with Ken eventually, but I don't want his whole deal because I'm going to hate myself for 2/3 of the game. Fine.
Yeah, maybe.
If you could get Breece Hall for 15 or 16, then sure, do that.
Right.
But given the names we just saw, like 30-year-old Aaron Jones getting 10.
Yeah, I mean, I would make it mentally work if they were like, you know what? We're just not spending again. We're going to find another $4 million running back like we just did with Javonte Williams and give Tyler Algier $4 million a year, and then also bring in Sean Tucker or something. Because you actually need 2. I don't know if people realize that or not. You need 2 because Miles Sanders is gone. Malik Davis is not a pass-protecting back.
No, you basically at this point, if you're bringing Javonte back, I kind of view it as a 1.5, right? Javonte's going to get as close to what a normal bell cow is in today's game. It's not going to be a real bell cow, what it was 15 years ago. But,
yeah. That 4th-round pick, I don't want to be forced to go get a running back.
No, I think the thing is, if you're doing this, and this is the Cowboys' way of trust the internal next guy up for better or worse, I think they're going to give Jaden Blue more run.
That's scary, for a guy that was shadow banned for like 15 weeks of the season until there was nothing else to do.
Right. He has juice. I don't think
he does. He does. He can catch the ball. I've seen, I watched Jaden Blue at Texas because that's the only time you can watch him now because he didn't play at all.
Correct.
No, my argument is that I don't like the free agent class very much. And I honestly...
You don't think this is a good free agent running back class?
I don't think it's that great after Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. Like the rest
of
the dudes,
Etienne guy?
Etienne is not the dude.
I agree.
Please no on Travis Etienne.
I would much rather pay Javonte at his number because Etienne will probably need 12 after the year he had, and I wouldn't do
that.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would rather pay.
He's not that good of a running back. His numbers look fine this year because he caught the ball pretty well and scored touchdowns through the air, which was a cool trick for him to add.
Well, he's always had that in his bag. His weird deal until this year was he would wear down.
Yeah.
He would start the year red hot and wear down.
His rushing success is awful.
Yeah, no.
Pitiful, man.
Give me Javonte over that.
Sure. Javonte over Etienne for sure. But I can't help but look at Javonte's numbers and go, yeah, this is a guy that is a product of circumstance. You know, the
But
explosive,
again, I mean,
the explosive rate is not there. It's
I don't
bottom
think
third of the league.
he's not explosive back. I agree
He
with
faces the lightest boxes of any running back in the league. They keep stats on that.
Yeah,
it's
they
seven,
do.
It's 7 guys in the box.
Yeah, but it doesn't change
So
the
if you
fact
can't get 4.5 yards, you suck. Like,
sure,
that's
but it
just
doesn't.
how it
But
works.
again, if that were all it was, he wouldn't have those broken tackle numbers. He wouldn't have those yards after.
What does he do with the broken tackles, though? He never gets past 10 yards on a carry. Like, if you're breaking 9 tackles in a 3-yard space, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. You're just a squirrel at that point. I know Javonte does force broken tackles. Like, that's his thing his entire career.
Yeah.
That's the thing that got him, like, way up, ranked number 1 on a lot of people's draft lists whenever he was coming out.
Well, that was half of it. Back then, it was elusiveness and explosiveness.
He had the juice as well, right?
Yeah.
But I guess the overall question, well, he's a product of the system to me, number 1, more than anything. Yes, he is talented. Yes, he is good. I'd absolutely be fine with him coming back. At 10, that feels a little crazy to me for that dude. Who else is giving him 10? Just like, let me figure that one out first.
I think, we looked at some of the numbers. If James Conner and Joe Mixon in their late 20s are getting 9+, if Aaron Jones,
I don't think anybody does that again. Like, you learned from the last bad contract you signed, right?
But again, here's the thing: this isn't some prohibitive move. It's such a tiny slice of cap that if you have something that works, and it's not. Do I think he benefited from the system? I do. Do I think he is a full byproduct? No, and there's numbers supporting that. So to me, if you have something that works, and if you are in the let's not fuck around and like would waste any more Dak's time, I know this back works. If Dak comes to the room and says, just pay him the damn $10 million, fine. I'm okay with that.
If that's your mentality, though, get Breece Hall.
I'm with you.
He'll rip off some 50-yard runs every once in a while. Brother, once in his damn life, as Javonte cannot do.
Brother, you are not going to there will be no Breece slander coming from this side of the
So it's almost like you're like putting your bets on this like crazy thing, or not this crazy thing over here, but this like screw it, do it mentality.
No, because
but
if he wasn't
staying
good,
super safe.
I think if it was screw it, do it, then you bring Rico Dowdle, who's a worse running back and an older running back, and a much scarier.
No, I mean, max out the position.
But you're not.
I should have been clear.
I guess but you're not maxing out. I think you're paying upper middle class. Breece is closer to maxing out, but Breece is an impact talent. So sure, do that.
It's not that much difference in money. It's just not. And to watch a running back all year not bust one that's like longer than 25 yards, and every time a pass is thrown to him, be like, that's 1 yard. That's literally like a yard. He's got like negative yards per route run.
I mean, I think some of that is also due to like what was blocking for him half the year. We talk about this great system and this great scheme. That line was getting shuffled week in, week out, right? And so,
yeah, they missed a lot of guys, but I think consistently most teams would take what they had to offer on their zone blocking, on their outside zone scheme. They'd be like, yeah, we can win with that.
It was fine.
We can get off chunks with that. Man, I think if you're going to spend 10 at the running back, you're either spending 10 to me and you're getting a difference maker, a legit difference maker, or you're cheaping out. I don't think you need to F around in this middle ground of running back of get 10 for a dude that is like the 15th best running back. I want a dude that's going to break 50-yard runs, that's going to catch 50-plus balls.
Yeah, I'm all for the Breece experience, yeah.
Like, I guess
that's
just how I think about it.
If we're ordering it, I'm saying – pay Breece, pay Javonte, go with the cheaper unknown, because the opportunity cost of going with the unknown is also time. Yeah. You have 2-3 games of the season where you're going, oh, who's my best back? How do I rotate it? Who handles the load well? These are unknown commodities. And that loses you a game, and your margins are thin.
Yeah.
And you don't have a lot of time to make this work. Like, spend the extra $4 million and give me the known commodity. But sure, if you can get Breece Hall to come here and the Jets aren't franchising him, which they probably will.
They should, and the Seahawks should sign Kenneth Walker back.
Correct.
Unless they plan on dumping a second-round pick into a back, which, you know,
good luck.
I know how they spend their picks. They're looking for some insane safety that's going to change the world or something like that.
Yeah.
Next linebacker that's going to be a freakazoid. Jacob Rodriguez will probably be a Seahawk, right?
Yeah.
It'll annoy the piss out of everybody. I want a running back that tilts the field every once in a while. At least one on my roster.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be Javonte. If Javonte's there and you're saying you're giving Javonte 10 and you're also going to throw in, I don't know, Keaton Mitchell every once in a while, who's going to go out there and be able to like rip off 30-yarders and literally make your safeties be on their heels whenever the ball is snapped, because that's not what Javonte's doing right now.
No, he's not.
I think teams are also fine whenever you hand the ball off to Javonte. I think defenses are going.
I think that's the most compelling point you're making here.
Thank God. Thank God you just handed it off Javonte Williams. He's going to fall over after 5 yards of running.
I think that's a fair point. But I also think that he has proven that he can handle the workloads where if they want to do that
That's
all
valuable.
game.
That's valuable.
And you want to say, we'll do that. Dallas gave him the ball 25 times, and he will make you pay for it.
Yeah.
He's not brittle playing that style. So,
Right.
again, like, I think we're broadly – there's things we're overlapping.
I'm more playing devil's advocate than anything because I think I'd be fine with him coming back as long as you bring something else that is a different
you can't build the whole plane out of that.
Doing Javonte and Miles Sanders is like, looking back, is so comically like flawed and hilarious.
Well, it makes sense I will say this. I think at the time when you think you know Javonte's got something, but you don't really know, you're hedging your bets. Because if Javonte did look as toasted as he looked in Denver, Miles Sanders was a cromulent, give him the ball 15 times.
Yeah.
So I get them placing the same bet twice.
Yeah.
Now
that's what they did at head coach too. That's why Matt Eberflus was here. Like a whole year of like, I'm pretty sure, but
one of them could coach the team
just in case.
Yeah,
I've got this other running back that kind of looks like him.
Yeah.
And they both had like really good years a couple of years ago. What if I stacked them? I can't go wrong there.
Yep. So in that world, I get it. But now that you have a known commodity in Javonte, if you pay him and you bring him back, then yes, you need some dynamism. You need a little more variability than what he brings.
You either need someone that can catch it out of the backfield. Maybe Jaden Blue is that guy. And when they were just like, haha, fooled you. Like, watch this guy catch 40 balls and turn into Tony Pollard.
Right.
The year that Zeke was, fading.
Yeah.
Or you got to go find one, The other dude at the top of this list, which makes everybody uncomfortable to the point where he didn't even bring his name up, is Rachaad White, who is Spot Track has him valued for about the same contract as Javonte.
I mean,
it's scary. I don't think he's a good runner at all.
It's funny because they're the polar opposite. Rachaad White is a legitimately phenomenal receiving back.
Yes,
he's
is,
great
dude.
at it.
So good.
But you don't want that dude running the ball under any circumstance.
No, and maybe the market settles down on him and everybody goes, well, I'm not looking for that like complimentary running back. I'm looking for the guy to go in there and hold it 20 times a game and give me five per and make my success rate look incredible. And the market comes back to us on Rachaad White. And it's like, Rachaad White for $5 million? Anybody interested? And then my ears are, or even a Kenneth Gainwell. Dudes that you can just throw, the last of that group, right, of guys that sub $5 million can do some of the heavy touch stuff if Javonte gets hurt. But also, I am scared shitless if that guy gets in the backfield and lines up, does a little motion out to the tight end, and I'm like, oh God, what is Gainwell doing? You know what I mean?
Brain starts melting.
Yes,
yeah.
I need that guy. I need the guy that gives you opportunity to be multiple.
Yeah. I think
some kind of toy. If it's Jaden Blue, that's fine.
I think that's the ideal. The ideal is if you're not going to splurge, and I don't think, given all the cap dancing around we did last week, that they will feel like they should splurge.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to splurge on Brees, then, hope that Jaden Blue is that dude.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Rachaad White market, if you're bringing back Javonte and I'm right, and it's 10, you bring Rachaad in for 5, you'd bring $15 million for both of them? No, at that point, then you pay Brees. I think if you're paying Javonte, the second guy has to be dirt cheap. And you have a dirt cheap guy in your roster with the skill set if his head is screwed on straight, and we don't know.
Yeah, and that's where I like shopping in this running back market.
Yeah.
I like your Emmanuel Wilson, Fort Valley State.
We're gonna play the game every week now.
You're Keaton Mitchell, right? That's
fun.
That level of back down here, those guys, there's actually a handful of them. And I'm looking down at the list and I'm going, oh, that guy walks onto the field. I think you can either run or pass. But if he starts motioning out of the backfield, that defensive coordinator is having a heart attack, right? And I just want press your advantage. Press your advantage. If you can cause nightmares with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and Ryan Flanoy and Jake Ferguson just doing his same, Polar Express steam straight down the track.
The most Wisconsin man ever played tight end.
Yeah, if that's already causing fits, imagine an incredibly dynamic multiple running back set that you can roll out there. Like that's unstoppable to me. And so I have dreams of what the offense could be if you drop a Brees Hall into it, or even a Kenneth Walker. I would deal with the low success rate.
I would. I just get why Shoddy might not want to.
Yeah,
and I won't be upset at that.
I'm always you call it bipolar, high variance, whatever you want to call it. There would be multiple games if you dropped Kenneth Walker into this offense. There would be multiple games next season where you would go. You would even put win-loss next to it. You would just write Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he would rip off a handful of 60-yard runs that got you out of pickles that almost no one else can do. Like, he is nuts.
He's got so much juice.
He's nuts. So, I don't know. I'm just dreaming on something more meaningful than I know exactly. And Javonte, maybe I need to watch early season Javonte again and remind myself, like, how productive
there is, because this is the part we didn't talk about. The year goes on, he was banged up the last 30 years.
It looked like he was running with a diaper on for some of that. Like, just flat out.
He
played through it, played well. There was just a handful of games where I was like,
this hurts.
Oh, Javonte, wide zone run.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody on the defense gives a shit. Like,
yeah, there are limitations. There has to be a second guy. But for me, unless you're going to go top of the market, I'm completely cool, and I hope that they do bring him back. I think it's worth the investment.
Well, I'm glad we got a 15-minute argument out of something we basically agree on.
Yay!
I'm fine. If he's back and that's what you're doing moving forward, good find. Way to get production out of a $3 million running back last year.
Yeah.
That's pretty slick. That's slick business. That's the kind of stuff I'm into.
Yep.
But yeah, that was fun. Cool.
That was fun. What else? What do we got next? We talk.
We're gonna make a long distance call. 1-800. What are the 1010 220 or whatever? Remember all that shit from when we were little?
1-800 collect.
Yeah. Like, for some reason, solving a collect call when we were younger was the biggest headache
all those
on planet Earth.
Yeah.
That's like, it was just constant. And so we're gonna attempt that and call.
We're gonna bankrupt the Haymaker Studios budget on this international call.
Yeah, whenever you get the bill, your parents can come in your room. What the F is who? So we're going to call Iztok Franko over in Slovenia, a good friend of ours, and just see what he's going to be doing this weekend.
Yeah, how are the vibes?
Maybe on Saturday night. Next on StrongSide.
Joining us now, our man in Slovenia, because we got a man in Slovenia, because we've always had a man in Slovenia, because Iztok Franko was writing for us at StrongSide from the minute we launched. He's now doing his own thing at Digging Basketball, a beautiful Substack, where he still writes about the Mavericks, but a lot about the Lakers, because you probably can guess why. But he's our guy and our dude, and we miss him. Iztok, welcome to the show, brother. Thanks for blessing us with your presence.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. And happy to talk to you again.
Oh, I know, dude. We miss you down here.
Yeah, I miss Texas. I miss Dallas as well. Yeah. I must say.
You got to get back so we can wait in line at a bar again together, and be the only normal people in a line at a hangout. That was a good time, man. No, you're the best. I'm so happy to see you.
Okay, so you are here on the occasion of Luka Doncic's second return to Dallas, and before we get to all that, we kind of got to start at the beginning here, which is. For those unaware, there were a lot of people in Slovenia who really enjoyed this basketball team back when the greatest export in Slovenian history played for this basketball team. And Iztok was one of those people. And it was about a year ago. He was doing his thing. He was writing great stuff about the Mavs and about Luka, and all was kind of calm and normal. And then a certain basketball trade happened.
Did something happen?
Yeah, what could have changed that? But what I want to know is this, right? Everybody's got their war stories about this trade, but most of them are kind of some shade of similar because you were in an American time zone. You were not. So either if you're like us, you either found this out before you were going to bed, or if you were me, you woke up in the morning and found out. Mm-hmm. But for you, very different time of day. So take me through this from your experience, and you're kind of our proxy to understanding this from Slovenia's point of view. What was this like in Slovenia that day? What time of day was this? How did you find out? How are you processing? Give me some emotional scar tissue here. Go back a year in time for me.
It was one of the craziest days for me. I don't know that I can remember. So it was Sunday morning, and as you say, typically on Sundays and on that day there wasn't a game. So because typically on a game day I would watch it early in the morning, so I'd wake up 6 a.m. typically, but that day there wasn't a game, so I slept a little bit longer and I woke 8:30, something like that, and I saw a text from a friend of mine, a journalist for our main national television that we do occasionally NBA podcast there together. And the text was like the first line read "earthquake."
Yeah,
That's
so
really
confusing.
Yeah,
That's the
and I
most
looked
confusing way
at
to start a text message.
and I looked at my son because he walked before me and said, "Did you feel anything? Was there any earthquake?" And he said, "No, nothing. No, really, I'm not making this up." So I started reading, and I said, "Okay, trade." And then the other funny thing was, and like everybody, I couldn't believe it for the next half an hour, just trying to see was Shams hacked or what happened, whatever. So, and then the other part was once I processed this, let's say in the morning, was that back then we were doing on our sports television, we were doing Mavericks games. And there was a Mavericks game. It was like a
The
Dallas
Cavaliers
Cleveland game,
game.
Cavaliers game,
Yeah.
if I remember. So we had like a studio and everything, and we were doing pre-game studio, and I was like a color commentator for the game, plus doing the studio. But we were doing studios with Luka's dad. And I'm texting my,
A little
our
awkward.
editor is, yeah, editor, so is the guy coming? It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
what is this? And to his credit, he did come. So we did a studio, and it was like, okay, nobody could really comprehend what was going on. And then the game itself, because I don't know, for the Mavericks, I don't know, nobody was playing. They set out everybody,
Yeah.
and they were like down 40, if I remember, by the second quarter. So it's like a 2-hour podcast about ranting about NBA, and people were actually texting me. This is like the best. Let's say Mavs game coverage that I saw because it was like so reactive, so fast. We
Yeah.
didn't plan it, but it was like a live coverage of the trade
Yeah.
during the television broadcast because nobody cared about the game.
Yeah.
We obviously know how Mavs fans felt about the trade and what happened afterwards, and we know how Lakers fans, but there is such a relationship with this country to the point where there are a lot of dollars going back and forth, obviously from Slovenia, the I Love Slovenia people, the Mavericks organization. Like, it's like we were just making deals as if nothing was ever going to change. But how did the people over there, how did this hit them? How did they react to just the realization that he's obviously the biggest star in the country, that he's kind of been stabbed in the back, kind of been shipped somewhere else? What was the immediate read from your people?
Yeah, I think for most of the people, so I would exclude myself as Slovenian from that because obviously I had much different, or maybe let's say more complex relationship with the whole ecosystem. But I think for most people in Slovenia, I would say it was a huge shock. It was a story for ever, basically because of everything that happened afterwards, because the soap opera just didn't go away. So it was on the news every single day, or even afterwards with everything that happened with the Mavericks. That was the news. But I would say that processing the trade was probably, I would say, easier than it was for the Mavericks fans. Because in a way, it was a shock. And I think a lot of people genuinely loved Dallas, loved the Mavericks, loved Luka playing there. I have a couple of friends who are like, they still go back to Texas. They love it so much.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I think for a general fan, I would say they process this much quicker than the Mavericks fans because it's also he was traded to the Lakers.
Yeah.
And realistically in Europe, the brand itself and a lot of people had this thought that say, okay, Luka, he was stabbed in the back, but if anything, they traded him to what is the most popular basketball franchise, at least in Europe, regarding the NBA basketball.
Also
and
a good place for
going
people
back,
to visit, because if they shipped him to like Indiana, everybody in Slovenia is like, God, do I have to go to Indiana to watch Luka play now? No, you got to go to LA,
Yeah.
man. This is great.
Yeah, I mean that, and also time zone. I think now games are a little bit easier, basically for the people because they're later, so they would wake up at 6 o'clock or 6:30 and still catch the second half at a lot of times because they're on a Pacific Coast time. But I think, yeah, generally, I think then after the initial shock, I think people and also our media presented it in a way that it's like kind of a success that Luka is now on the Lakers and he's like the biggest brand. His brand got even bigger. You can see now he's like the primary won the vote for the NBA All-Star. So I think people kind of took Luka for our, let's say, bigger public was always this shiny object, you know.
Yeah.
So they didn't dissect his games like I do or like best. We have a lot of NBA diehards that do, but I think the general population they were like watching these clips of Luka's life from Madrid to Dallas and now LA, and LA is now like the next grand stage, so it's like just going up.
Yeah.
So that's how they was perceiving. But I think for the NBA fans or for people who actually went to the Mavericks games, and like Mike said, there was a lot of people. I think a lot of people that I talked to were generally sad because I think the connection between Slovenia and Texas was kind of real. I think people love the lifestyle, the more the laid back approach, and really like the people. And as I said, the lifestyle. I think it's very relatable to our lifestyles.
If you zoom out just a little bit and you're like an international fan, this isn't unprecedented for the biggest star in basketball to end up on the Lakers.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like,
Not at all.
Like it seems like, oh, he's finally one of those. He's finally Kareem. He's finally Shaq. He's finally Wilt. Right?
Even Luka had a lot of fans in Spain, and Paul Gasol got traded from the Memphis to Lakers. So there is a lot of, like you said, a lot of players. So they see it as like if you are a star, it's like kind of a reward, you know, for a star to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the final stage. It's reaching your final stage as an
final
NBA
form.
superstar.
Yeah.
The Lakers are either trying to acquire you or did acquire you.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, I think the more diehard fans, the people who really watch, who love the team, I think, and I would count myself among those, I think we process it more like Luka did, which was, and you can see he didn't hide it. It was like he was in shock, like for next, I would say, until the summer, basically.
Yeah, well, you know, it helps when you could go root for Luka. The rest of us are still here. Did any is there like a single Mavericks fan left in Slovenia? Did anybody stay behind and say, you know what, I'm going to root for the Mavs, or is everybody just a Laker fan now because Luka's there?
I mean, like I said, you have like these diehard fans that would watch the team, but I think people still follow the team. So people would ask me about Cooper Flag. People would ask me, okay, what is the next thing? What is going on with AD? But generally, I think they would more look at Mavericks as a franchise that will be always tied to Luka and also to this trade. So, as you know, people like to look at it as black and white. So, who won the trade? So, they're often some people are kind of rooting for Mavericks to fail, so that the trade would be proven wrong. But I think the more time passes, I think that's getting like a little bit. Not real.
Well, and to that point, you know, this weekend, obviously, the second time he's come back, very different vibe than last year. I wouldn't say it's another game, but it's certainly not the citywide event it was. What does it feel like in Slovenia? Does it feel like anything still, or have the emotions gotten muted enough of the past year that it's, oh, that's interesting, not as such a news story?
I think it's more like this. I think it will be more like when the game will be there will be clips again, especially depending what happens on the game, because last game, obviously, so much stuff happened in that game, basketball-wise, emotional-wise, all the things that surrounded it. So I think it will be a story, but it's gonna be kind of like a one-week story, not like this bigger story.
Yeah.
I think, and also, I think based on everything that's going on with the Mavericks, I think maybe it will evolve in the future in a rivalry, some sort. I think Luka will always look at it that way, and maybe it happens in the next year if this Mavericks team rebounds and rebuilds around Cooper.
Mm-hmm. So my decision matrix at that time was either become a Lakers fan, which wasn't really an option because I was working for the Mavs, or continue being a Mavericks fan and watch this husk of this thing that used to exist, or get a new job and not watch basketball for a year. I chose the last one. I chose the last one. So I haven't seen Luka in quite a long time play outside of like clips, and I'll be honest, I haven't watched a full Maverick game this season. It's still there for me. I can't conjure up good emotions. And that's, we've talked enough about me in this, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
need to dive into it a bunch. But it was so fun going from year one to year two, year three to 6, 7 years into his career and seeing how he would evolve, and how he would change, and how whether or not the off-season narrative actually matched what happened on the court, and has he become more efficient from this area? Can he hit the three more consistently now? So tell me what flavor of Luka the Lakers are getting this season, his first full year out there.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a weird season altogether, not only for Luka, but also for the Lakers. I think going into the season, the narrative, of course, was the off season and this Luka reshaping his body, getting into the season. He played Eurobasket and he played great there. I was there basically in Poland watching the games live, and he really looked great and played great. And he also opened the season great. So I think he opened the season with 3 straight 40-point games. And the early season narrative was because LeBron was injured. He didn't start the season. Uh, this chemistry between Luka and Austin Reeves, which was like something that Lakers fans really were, I think, a little bit surprised by. But I think it's a lot of what we saw with Luka and Jalen Brunson, or Luka and Kyrie. It's kind of a mix of both, because I think Austin Reeves is like a similar guy, very level-headed, with a sense of humor. I think he has an empathy and capacity to comprehend Luka and take the good and the bad with him. So that was really, Lakers opened the season well. But then he got injured, and before LeBron returned. And since then, I think the fit of this team, it's just, you can see it's trying to hang on this last year of LeBron and try to talk and think about how to build a new team around Luka for the future. Lakers are very open about it. So I think it's it's going from good games because the record is better than it is, but also a lot of times you can see that either the chemistry or the vibes, or there's just something off with this team, because it has such an obvious flaws if you compare them to the best teams in the West, which the Laker fans' expectation there is always we want to be the champions. So I think there is often frustrations because this team has obvious flaws, and it's not, in my opinion, currently built to be a contender. And it also, for Luka, it's it's not built to let's say, to emphasize his strengths, more like to emphasize his weaknesses. So there is also at times, uh, let's say, some criticism about his game, about, I don't know, again, about his defense, about his offense, because the spacing is not great. They don't have good athletes. They don't have good defenders. So it's kind of a mixed bag of a season. But I would say, all in all, still they are 10 games above 500. They are 26 and 16, which is kind of crazy based on how many games they lost due to injury.
Yeah. So let's talk about, you got parachuted into the Laker fans, which is its own. I lived in LA. I lived 10 years of my life in LA. That's its own world right there, dude.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. And so it's funny because having had a lot of Laker fans in my life, when the trade goes down, it was really one of two reactions. It was either one, from their perspective, it was, holy shit, how did this happen? We got Luka Doncic. There was also a lot of like survivor's guilt. Like, I had a lot of them being like, this is weird that this happened, and I feel very bad for you that this is now coming at the expense of any joy that your whole city has, because this is great for us, but this feels weird and icky. But, human nature and Laker fan nature, we're a year down the road now. And so everything that is shiny isn't quite as shiny. So how are the fans processing Luka? In the moment, they're psyched. I'm sure big picture, they still love him, but like, are they whining about the shot selection like everybody down here did? Are they getting upset about him complaining at the refs? Like, are you hearing the same exact things from a different fan base now, or are they getting different gripes? How are they perceiving him?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What I would like to say also is that I think they see this, like you said, as a gift, but they still, I think there is a lot of criticism, like it was to prior Mavericks front offices, that's everywhere, to Rob Pelinka, because of all the things that they think the failures of the past, team building and how the team is built now. So they saw that was like a godsend, the trade, but still it's not like giving credit to their GM. It's more like this is because you're the Lakers and because Nico Harrison wanted to trade Nico for exactly one specific player, which is true. As for Luka, I think to me, and this is part of it. Let's say the story. If you look at a player more like not only on court, but more like if you zoom out, I think what I liked about the whole Dallas thing is he was drafted there. He was a kid. If you watch his rookie year clips, he was like a real kid, yeah. And he ascended to stardom. He played with Dirk. Everything was like natural progression. And I think the fans in Dallas learned about Luka's strength and also the flaws, like you said, progressively, and you kind of accepted them because he was always one of your own. He was your own kid. Right. When I did a story way back in Madrid about people in Madrid, they said to me, we see him as like our Spanish boy. And I think a lot of people in Dallas, at least I had that feeling, took Luka as their kid in a way, who got moved from Madrid to Dallas. And in LA, they don't see him like that because he was traded there. He's one of the stars. He's like Shaq.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't say Kobe because Kobe obviously it's more like on a Dirk path.
Yeah, he was drafted there.
Was traded there.
But
even LeBron, if you look at LeBron, the greatest player ever, you will have part of the fan base, they will say, you're not Kobe, you're not Magic, whatever. So whenever, even LeBron, they dissect him, the things he does well or doesn't do well, or his flaws. And the problem with Luka, as you guys or we all know, is that his weaknesses and strengths are very visible or often magnified. So it's very easy to talk about them. But in our, I don't know, black and white society, there is not many rational fans, at least in the internet world. The people I met in person are much better, but I would say online, the discourse is never like, okay, let's put this in the context. Let's try to understand why this is like it is.
Yeah. So you still pay attention to the Mavs a bit. You still write about them from time to time, which makes you a very good person. We're in this every day, but you are able to kind of watch this from a bit of a remove. So let's talk about Cooper Flagg. Let's talk about the guy who picked up the baton for Luka. What are you seeing from him other than the fact that he doesn't suck? Does he met your expectations? And sort of archetypically, I mean, where does he kind of fall into what Dallas needs to kind of climb out of this abyss that they created for themselves a year ago?
No, to me, he is everything you would hope for. And the hope was you want a superstar. So I think he surely has that potential. Even in the summer, I was doing like this analytical draft model deep dive with one guy who used to do modeling, and he now works for the Denver Nuggets, I think. And it was really hard to find him a comparison because you had to search for different archetypes on offense and defense. So he was like a combination like of Kawhi Leonard, for example, a guy who can be great on both ends. And it's really hard to find a comp for Cooper. I did one of my Croatian colleagues, he did like a very good deep dive on his game now, where he's good right now and where he will get in the future. We published it on my Substack. So going through that, I think it's hard to see him as a rookie. And that's like unfair to him because of this whole situation, because everybody would like for this team to be good right now. I think now actually with all these injuries that happen, I think it's kind of good for him because the expectations will be much lower and he will be given time that Luka had basically in the first season after they made the Porzingis trade, which was basically sacrificing the second half of the season. So I think that will be good for Cooper. But I think he is a prototype or archetype of a modern NBA player, which is fast, athletic, who played on both ends. So I think he's like, if you look how this game is evolving, in a faster game, more athletic, more physical game. It's everything you want. Cooper Flag. It's like, to me, perfectly built for this new NBA modern game.
A lot of the angst and frustration you explained about the Lakers fans dealing with a team that was obviously built around LeBron James reminds me, like it wasn't built around Luka Doncic.
Mhm.
We had a team that eventually got there. I think it took a little bit longer than it probably should have, because of Rick Carlisle and not being certain of whether to give Luka the reins early on and things like that. But we got there, and this team, you drop a Luka Doncic in it, it looks incredible, and all these things make sense, and it brings the room together, and the three-point shooters are more open than they've ever been, and they all have career years and all that kind of stuff. You were on the front foot on that his entire career of here's how you build around him, here's what it means to have a team that can function with this heliocentric scorer. What are your ideas about how to build around Cooper Flag and the players that he needs around him to get to superstar status, MVP status, and eventually, the NBA Finals like we did not that long ago?
Yeah, in a way, I would say the roadmap should be easier because it's not as specific as a player as Luka, but also we often neglect then the shot creator, the other part, the mega star that can take your shot. So we'll see with Cooper how his game will develop. I think a lot will depend on his shot. Can he be, and I think he has the potential to be the guy, the number one guy, that will also not only do all the little things, but will also have the game in the ball in his hand and create for others, or he'll be, let's say, a guarantee for a top 10 offense. But even without that, I think if you look at what I envision is like, I don't know, if you look at the Raptor teams with Kawhi, or if you look the Celtics team with Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, you can have like two other guards that are not that should be much better, and the current Maverick setup, which is basically the guards that cannot shoot, or they are too small, or they have a lot of limitations. So I think if you think about, for example, Drew Holiday, Derek White next to Jason Tatum so there are two guys who will defend, who will play fast, who can play without the ball, but then also who will create for you. So I think that's kind of a setup. I think it's the best, finding players like that. And I think, as I said, the new NBA, you can really build a modern, fast-paced team, also good defensive team with Cooper. So I think, to me, if I would be a Maverick fan, I would be very excited about that. I think it's a good thing. The tricky part now is, like I said, which of the current players fit, and this vision of Anthony Davis and then the big guys around him. We saw that was also the strange part of this trade. Okay, it wasn't done with Cooper Flag in mind, but it really complicated because these are not the archetypes that you want next to him.
Yeah, the Anthony Davis of it all is kind of looming, especially as the trade deadline gets closer. This ain't gonna work. He's not staying on the floor. He's not the right age range. The salary is big. It's just we've talked extensively about this on the show. People have heard us talk about it and about what we're looking for if and when they trade him, whether that's the deadline or sometime in the summer or however it goes down. But from your perspective, I think you're probably in agreement with us that they need to move on. What realistically can they target, and what realistically should they target for him?
It's a really, I'm not deep inside the NBA circles to really gauge what's the value, what you can get. Because if I'm looking from the other way around, who is willing to take a gamble on Anthony Davis? One of the deep dives that I did in summer is also before all these injuries for AD. It's like basically there is no precedence for player with his injury history to get on the all NBA defense team past age 33. Mm-hmm. So all other guys that did, the big guys that did, they never were so injured early in his career. So we'll see, but NBA, I think everybody can convince themselves into becoming a contender, and I think AD, he was always one of my favorite players to watch. So I don't know, maybe a team will take a gamble, and I think from the Mavericks side is just get some flexibility. I think ideally draft capital or a young player. I would look for one building block, not necessarily a star, but just a player that we talked before that fits maybe next to next to Cooper. Sorry. So still Freudian slips. Even when I write my game notes, I would often start, Mavs game. It's like fuck. So
Yeah, I got a lot of jerseys
so, yeah.
at home if you want them. I got a whole shelf a whole drawer full of jerseys that I've just been sitting there for like a year, and I'm like, bums me out every day. Yeah, I mean, AD at this point is what you would refer to in an open market as a distressed asset. It's going to take a certain type of team that is also very distressed or desperate to want to be willing to give you anything for that. So it's kind of like you're already narrowing the field of who would want that type of thing. But you ready for some buzzer beaters? Some quick ones?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Let's go.
Sounds confident.
He's not hyped.
Yeah. All right. First one, true or false? Anthony Davis gets traded before the deadline.
True.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Let it end. Let it end.
I hope so. I mean, to be honest, I hope so for everybody involved. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
That's the best thing for him
it's
too,
gonna
right?
It's gonna be hard. Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
Best Luka game winner, and let's say in Dallas, so people aren't too sad if your answer is in LA for some reason.
To me, it has to be the one over Rudy, right? In the Western Conference Finals. That moment was such a... And that series, I think that was the peak of his time in Dallas, of this iteration of the team. That series was so crazy. And he played so well. Not only him, also Kyrie, but especially him. He played so well. So I think that it has to be that one.
Yep.
Yeah, and obviously the team destroyed the Jazz previously, a Rudy Gobert team.
Yep.
And then in Minnesota does it again. And people don't remember this, but I do because I lived it. I knew more about the freaking Timberwolves.
Just downloaded it all in your brain.
And their organization and their players and how they act and even people around the team because we went to Abu Dhabi with them.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't forget that.
Like for a week and a half.
Yeah.
And there's one breakfast room. You know what I mean?
You guys are around each other.
Like there's one pool area. There's one so we were around the Timberwolves a lot, like in the weight room with Timberwolves players. Like they'd come in. Like Rudy came in when I was in the weight room. So it was just bizarre, like just seeing that happen and going, oh my God, that's them, and just like having all these flashbacks of being in the desert with them. But all right, let's cut to the more important stuff. Favorite meal you've ever had in Dallas, Texas?
Brisket. It has to be brisket.
Which place?
Oh, any place, any barber, any barber.
I would take him to Terry Black's. That's where I usually.
No, I love that one actually because I like the vibe, I like the system. So
yep,
that one was great. Yeah.
A good one.
Yeah. Even more important question: what year are you and I going to the San Siro to watch Interplay?
Man, whenever you come here, we go.
That is
Although now
I'm
following Manchester. I'm following now Manchester United because of our guy. He's there, but Milan is so close. So if you ever make it to the Europe, I'm taking you there.
Yeah,
so.
I know. We need to do it. I ask you this like it's your thing. It's really my bullshit. It's not your problem. You're holding up your end of the bargain here. So
you're like talking about a soccer team, right?
Yeah.
Well, explain what team? Inter Milan.
Inter Milan, which so it's fast Iztok story. This is the sweetest man in the universe. Just the nicest human. And the first time we meet, when he's in Dallas for his first Mavs game, he hands me a bag. And this bag contains a signed jersey. And it is signed by every member of Inter's team the year after they win the league. And the reason this happened is because Inter's captain and star goalkeeper at the time, Samir Handanovic, is Slovenian. So Iztok knows a guy who knows a guy. Mm-hmm. And somehow he gets Samir to sign this thing for his friend Mike in Dallas, who at this point we have never met in person. We've just edited, worked on stories together and had this great working relationship. But that's the type of dude that Iztok is, and that's how deep his inter roots run here. He's got Slovenian, emeritus love for Inter since Samir retired a few years ago now. But we're gonna go. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna love it.
Pretty badass.
It is badass. It is badass.
That I love the Slovenian people. They are so much fun.
Yeah.
I had an intern that was with us for 2 semesters.
I remember him.
Yeah, Andrash. He would just be like, I'd have a question about some kind of Slovenian thing. He's like, "Oh, let me call him, or I know somebody that knows that person." It's the biggest high school. Like all y'all are y'all are so fun. Y'all like, do stuff together.
So we are like a little bit much smaller, but a little bit more populated Greenland. Everybody knows everybody.
Hopefully, we're not trying to take you over anytime.
Yeah. No, the first lady's from there. I think it's safe.
Yeah.
All right. Which is more likely to happen? Luka wins MVP this year, or someone other than Cooper Flagg wins Rookie of the Year?
So, which is more likely, that Luka wins MVP or somebody else than Cooper?
Yeah.
You got it.
I think the other part. I think because the Konkonupo, I think it's like, I don't think it's that tight race, although I love both guys, but I think Cooper is like so special. But unfortunately for Luka and MVP, I think something would have to drastically change in the second part of the season, because I think Shea is so far ahead right now. And the way that the media perceives Luka currently, they're like, I saw one of the polls, it was like Jaylen Brown was in front of him, which was to me crazy.
Sacrilegious right there.
Yeah.
All right.
So, unfortunately, but I don't know. I think both are. I think Cooper has much the other way around, to put it. Cooper has of course, much higher chance to win Rookie of the Year that Luka has the MVP. But you never know. We are half point of the season. I think the Lakers, if they get healthy, Austin Reeves should return on this road trip. And they are already 10 games, as I said, above 500 if they have second. If they make a move, which I don't know what kind of move they can make at the deadline, but let's say if they can somehow fine-tune the team, I don't think they're a contender, but they could be a good story. So maybe that makes Luka's chances better.
Yeah. Last one, tied all back to what we're talking about this week. How many points does Luka drop on the Mavs on Saturday? Because we know what he did last year, and I don't think he's gotten over it fully. So how many is he going for?
I think this is the question for Jason Kidd, because if you look the 3 games that they played, I think 2 of them he decided, including this year's game, is deciding Luka is not scoring. We will blitz him. I don't think when he comes on at warm-ups, when he puts his Balkan music, somebody is already there checking him. So that I think was. So we don't want that thing. And based on what happened last year, I'm expecting this. But in the game that was in Dallas, they didn't do that. So he scored 45. So I think it's really maybe Jason lets people have the show. It's Jason proves a lot of time that he understands the defense and the requests on Twitter, so he reads the narratives. So maybe he does that.
All right, so give me a number.
For
Are we
this
talking
game,
like a gentleman's 22? Like how many is he going for?
I would say gentleman's 41.
There it is. It's
Dirk's number.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. Just drive the knife even further.
Perfect.
Iztok, you are the best. We love you. We miss you down here. Come back and visit us before I come and visit you in Europe. Where are the people? Tell the people how to subscribe. Tell the people what your new Twitter account is, because Twitter's been mean to you, and Twitter bots need to help out our boy.
Hey, that business is a tight ship. It's run really well. I'm so surprised.
Lots
you're
of
having
caring
difficulty.
human beings working round the clock to get this sorted for you.
I will use this media if there is a living person existing that works in X support, please contact me. not via my original Twitter, because I'm selling crypto there, but I have an additional one. Mike, you can check Mike's basically Twitter, because he retweeted my new account. So you can find me there. on my temporary account, but no, otherwise it's like digging basketball Substack. There is also a lot of things are free, it's not paid. So let's say half of the content, there's also chat, so we can chat there. Otherwise, I would say Twitter, but yeah.
Hopefully,
reality.
Yeah, hopefully we get a digital miracle here. You deserve it, buddy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Awesome to talk to you and see you.
Great to see you, brother.
Likewise.
Welcome back to Strong Side, episode 11. I'm Mike Marshall. He's Mike Palucci. Follow us on X, the everything app, Twitter, if you want to.
After that ring endorsement of what it's going like for his talk, follow us.
Yeah, exactly.
Use their service.
Yeah, exactly. Find our messages there because we really love it, being there and the experience. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us and watching the show. Hope you've enjoyed it thus far. There's not much in baseball that can make me feel grossed out or sticky, icky. I think the Scott Boras has kind of taken me out of that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It just became too gross at some point of the free agency and the money and the, just all that stuff. But for some reason, I think this happened to a lot of people. Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, a lot of people triggered.
To the Dodgers signing. It was absolutely triggering and just like, what the F else, guys? Like, what's wrong with you? And I know it's your turn to do a who do you hate? Mm-hmm. So I don't think you hate Kyle Tucker.
I don't hate Kyle Tucker. I don't hate the Los Angeles Dodgers. I hate the owners of 29 other teams who are going to send us into a lockout over stuff like this. Because the biggest lie these people are going to sell you is that the Dodgers are a problem. You know what the Dodgers are? The only team trying. ESPN's Alden Gonzalez had a piece after Kyle Tucker signed in LA. But only the Toronto Blue Jays were willing to go to any real length with Kyle Tucker as far as years on a contract. And only the Mets were willing to spend a lot of money in a high annual value. And in a healthy league, a top 15 hitter in baseball, which is what Kyle Tucker is. You can make some arguments it's even higher than that. But Kyle Tucker is incredible. Best free agent in the market. True number 3, number 4, number 2 caliber type hitter. Wherever you want to put your best guy, he's that guy. There should have been teams lining out the door to get him to come in. And nobody was because too many are cheap and too many don't want to try and too many want to be complacent and too many want to cry poverty. And so when the one team that tries every year looks around and says, y'all aren't signing the good player. Maybe we should sign the good player. It ain't that team's fault. The biggest lie that baseball will tell you when they lock out and when these owners push for a salary cap because the Dodgers are making them look cheap and bad at their jobs is that the Dodgers are the problem. The Dodgers are the solution because they are trying to win and they are trying to spend. And this is the part where people, when I say this on the internet, say, well, Mike, not every team has LA's resources. And they don't. But what every team can do, because they're all owned by billionaires, is spend to the maximum capacity of their own ability. Because if every team did that every year, you would create an ecosystem where when the pool of available talent is finite, if 10 to 15 teams are trying over the top 10 players, the Dodgers can't spend on all of them. They just can't. There's too much competition. The Dodgers didn't want to necessarily spend on Kyle Tucker. They came in 11th hour because if I can get a top 15 player for, I don't know, 70 cents of what it should be on a long-term deal, or just do a really gimmicked up short-term contract where he could opt out of year 2. And so he'll be there 2 years and he's gone. If I could do that and not tie up any of my books and I could defer the money, then I'm going to do that because you didn't make me try anything else. This is how nerds like me and Machine win dynasty leagues because a player gets on the market and 2 people try. And it's like, well, I guess if nobody else is going to try, I'll trade him to the really good team. And then everybody else in the league gets mad. Why did the good team get the good player? Because the good team tried. Mm-hmm. The Dodgers are trying. It is what everybody should want of their teams because we live in this market. We talked about it just last week. You don't think Kyle Tucker would help the Rangers? You don't think a serious Rangers team spending like what they did 3 years ago would look at Kyle Tucker and say, let's just move Wyatt Langford to center and pay that guy instead of wish casting Evan Carter to be healthy and good at the same time? they would do something about this, but they didn't. And it's not even a specific Rangers complaint here for once because nobody else did enough. Nobody did. And that's why the Dodgers pulled this off. And I can complain about this the way I complain about college football from an aesthetic standpoint and from a fan perspective and from a I don't like enjoying or following this reality standpoint. But you know what? I know college football will be here every fall. I know that I'm going to watch the same number of college football games every year in perpetuity. We're not going to watch the same number of baseball games in 2 years' time. There will be a lockout. And it will be ugly because the owners will fight for a cap. They will not fight for a salary floor that forces them to spend a minimum amount of dollars. They will fight for a ceiling so that everybody only has to try so hard. And they will wait the players out because that's what happens in every labor stoppage. And then they will wait for the public to turn on the players when they are not there on opening day in late March, early April. And they will say, why are the players being greedy? Why don't they go back to work? Why can't I watch my baseball? And they won't ask, why are the people who write their checks not writing real checks? That is what is going to happen because of Kyle Tucker. Not because of Kyle Tucker, not because of who he's playing for, but because the other 29 teams do not care the way they should care. And I'm tired of it. And I'm going to get even more tired of it 2 years from now when I would love to be excited about baseball, but I know that I'm not getting it until July.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, it's like quaint and kind of adorable for baseball teams to be cheapos or to be constrained by their,
small
their
market status. Yeah.
The Rays. I blame the Rays mainly because they introduced the platoon idea.
I don't hear the Green Bay Packers cheaping out of Jordan Love's contract.
I don't either. But you're right about the thing you're most right. You're right about all of it. But the thing you're most right about is that if there is not a market there to bid up a player to where they should, a market valued contract, an appropriate contract, and someone else comes in and swoops in there and says, yeah, I'll sign this guy for $40 a year, especially if I can get out of it really easily, especially if I can defer it down the road, which I don't know how we got to this point where you can just defer.
Yeah, you want to sell me a baseball banning deferrals? Great, I'm all for that.
We could cut that out. It might help a lot, but they're playing within the rules.
Right.
I'm playing within the rules. Just because 27 others are sitting on my hands, I'm playing with my rules, I'm going to cheap out, and I can not really even create a market for this player. It's like this unspoken agreement for 25 of the teams to go, not doing that. Everybody be cool. Hold the line. We're not spending like this.
Yep.
And then a couple don't. Yankees just signed Cody Bellinger too. That one didn't feel gross because the Yankees didn't win the World Series last year.
Yeah.
They don't have an all-star lineup. I mean, that's pretty much close to it now. But the Dodgers one was triggering because 25 other teams were saying, not interested, not even going to submit an offer. Everyone, be cool, chill out. We're not going to spend that kind of money.
Yeah.
And then someone jumps in and goes, actually, I'm trying. Call me cringe, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh, what the hell, man? You blew our cover. Good for the Dodgers. Good for the effing Dodgers. I don't want to watch them win another World Series, but you know what? If you can manipulate a scenario in which there isn't a true market, that's exactly like fantasy football, man. That's exactly like it. Like some owners are checked out. Not my problem.
No.
Absolutely not my problem. Because I'm going to go get the player. I'm going to make it work. History's written by the winners. I'm going to go win.
Yeah.
Right now. Because I have the best team in baseball, and I have an even better team after Edwin Diaz and Kyle Tucker.
Hey, guess what? People go to their games and buy their merch.
And they will forever. There's going to be a whole generation of kids that grow up Dodgers fans.
Yeah.
10 years from now, 15 years from now, they're going to be the Cowboys.
Spend money to make money.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys didn't do it by hitting people over
and
the head with money.
We're not naive. Like, if Cincinnati decided to do this, it won't work the same way.
Right.
But Cincinnati reporting was out there that they were in on Kyle Schwarber just because they thought that might be a marketable move. And they don't get Kyle Schwarber, and then we won't try anything then.
Yeah.
We won't do any of this spending if we didn't get the one guy who might move some more tickets.
Yeah.
That's not what a healthy sport does. And it doesn't have to be this way. And for the same people who argue about this, it's like the NFL has a salary floor. Mm-hmm. It's not like the NBA has, I guess the NBA actually does have one.
Yeah, they do.
But nobody's ever trying not to hit those things. Mm-hmm. It's just ingrained into the culture of this that you spend some money.
Yeah.
And somehow it's become acceptable to be complete weenies if you're not the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yeah. That it's okay and it is we might try them a little bit,
Yeah.
And I guess look, I say 29 other teams, 28, because the freaking Blue Jays tried. I get if Kyle Tucker, like a number of other free agents, is like, I don't want to move countries. Fine.
The taxes are way different too.
Yeah.
For every home game you play there, like you get taxed completely differently.
28. I amend my statement. 28 other owners. Blue Jays are cool.
We're good with you.
Yeah. The other 28 of you.
Yeah.
Shape up. Come on.
Yeah. At least create a true market, man. You can't bitch about not participating in the market and then it not being there.
Right.
It's the same with effing democracy, guys. You can't bitch about it not existing and also not participate in it.
Yeah.
Got to try. Yeah. If you throw any team, Houston throws an offer at Kyle Tucker that's just like somewhere in the ballpark. Okay, then you got to beat that. And then you got to beat this one. And then the best team eventually gets it. And yeah, they are going to lock it out. They'll lock it out. They'll lock out baseball because they feel some way about it, about what happened with Kyle Tucker. And they thought everybody was going to be cool. Dodgers don't owe you shit.
No.
They don't owe you a single thing. They're going to win another World Series.
And you're going to whine, and we're going to all these anonymously sourced reports at the start of the playoffs of how do we compete. Well, you might have to try.
Yeah, exactly.
That's step one.
That's true. Oh, it's such a mystery. How are the Dodgers doing it? I don't know. Give a crap.
They keep spending the money on good players, and I just don't know what we can do about that.
How do we get all these? If you're saying it's as simple as getting the good players,
you're saying that I could have signed the good player that they just signed.
Yeah,
I could have signed.
How do me sign player? Like me? No. Yeah. So screw the rest of baseball, dude. Good for the Dodgers, and I hope they lock out because those old stubborn men won't participate. They just won't try, man. And,
I don't, because it's just going to end in a system even worse than this, because that's sports today.
Yeah. Well, Rangers. Still time to do something, guys. Just a PSA for you and your whole franchise. If you want to do literally anything.
Justin Verlander was good in the second half. He was good in the second half. He's old.
Verlander.
They're good on good old pitchers. That's what they do here now.
Let's go.
That.
Yeah.
This is where the bar has lowered.
Don't get me interested in Miguel Andujar, guys. I'm not gonna care about that. All right. Well, that was a great show. Thank you to Iztok for hopping on, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be with you next week for episode 12. In the meantime, cry yourself to sleep on Saturday night watching Luka Doncic scorch the Mavs at the AC if the game doesn't get canceled. But stay safe, stay warm.
Yep.
Have a great week, guys. See you next time.
See you next time.